Hey guys, welcome back to another pick a card reading. So for this one, we're going to be taking a look at what do they think about you from your social media, or kind of like I was also thinking what kind of vibes you give off from your social media. So that's what we're taking a look at today. I have 5 piles to choose from, so go ahead and choose whichever pile you're most drawn to, and we'll get into the messages. Okay, pile one. Welcome to your reading. So you guys chose the rutilated quartz here. And so yeah, let's see what kind of vibes your social media gives off, like what people think of you from your social media, those types of things. And you could be asking about people in general and generally what people think about you from your social media. You could also be asking about more personal connections. Okay, so you guys got Gemini. So Gemini, I would say maybe you have a very social presence on social media. So maybe what people think about you is you are a social person. You like to talk. You like to share your ideas with people. Gemini does, because it does relate to Mercury and the mind. It does make me think you could be seen as someone who is intelligent, perhaps someone who shares facts or something like that. I also get a very curious energy and kind of like a fast moving energy with Gemini. So I don't know, maybe you post a lot. It doesn't have to be consistently, but maybe there's times where you do post a lot and you have a lot to share or a lot to say. Or it could also be that the way people see you from your social media is that you have a lot of friends. Maybe you're often interacting with other people's social media or commenting on other people's pages or something like that. So I think that people see you in a more social vibe. On social media. It definitely doesn't feel like you're hidden or you don't have friends or you're not talking to other people or something like that. And yeah, a very curious nature is what I get from Gemini. So maybe people think of you as someone who's open minded, likes to learn new things, is curious about a lot of things. Perhaps people think of you as someone who likes to ask questions. Let's see. Okay, we have concealment. With Gemini too, I kind of get maybe there's a very playful and witty vibe that you have. It does make me think of maybe a sarcastic sense of humor with concealment. Maybe people, okay, because okay, I don't really believe this about Geminis, or the sign really, but it is the twins, and Geminis have got a bad rap. There's kind of a stereotype that Geminis can be two-faced. So there could be some people who go to your social media page and wonder if you're genuine, or if you have secret intentions, or maybe there's a sarcastic sense of humor. Maybe there's a playful sort of energy you have, and it could be maybe even throwing shade, and people don't exactly realize that you're doing that. So there could be a little bit of that energy here. Even if that's not true, maybe some people are suspicious of you on social media. If you say something, they're wondering, was that directed at me? Or is that about me? Even if maybe it's not, something like that. I also feel with Gemini energy, it is an air sign, so it's more related to the way we think and the mind. And it could be that when people go to your social media, they don't see a whole lot of emotion or something like that. Maybe they feel you're good at hiding your emotions, or you don't really express your emotions. Maybe more so what you're expressing is certain ideas or thoughts you have, or perhaps just sharing information or something like that. So we have the Chariot. We got some Cancer energy here. And the Chariot, so the way people see you on social media or what they think about you, well, first of all, actually, if I'm looking at this card, there's Well, it's a little hard to tell what what that is exactly. Like, I don't. It doesn't exactly look like a tiger. Maybe it's a panther or a jaguar. I don't know. But like, we have a kind of vicious-looking cat on the chariot card, so it does make me think that, yeah, like along with maybe people not always understanding, like kind of questioning you, it could be that at times people kind of think of you as a little bit aggressive from your social media. Um, and I don't know if it doesn't feel direct with concealment. So there could be people who are wondering if you're mad at them, if maybe certain more like if there's any sort of like negative or angry feelings that are directed at them or something like that. People could question that. But the chariot does make me feel like you have a confidence on social media. You're not afraid to really go after what you want, in general, maybe. And that's what people get from you from your social media. So there could be people looking at you and thinking of you as someone who can achieve a lot, or you could be quite successful in the eyes of other people. And we have the Ace of Wands. Okay. This does give me like, yeah, you don't seem like someone who slows down or like is stagnant. I feel like we have a lot of energy about charging forward, like fast paced energy. So even if it's not like you're posting a lot, it seems like I feel like people could think of you as someone who's quite busy. Um, and yeah, along with like Gemini energy and the Ace of Wands, it's like maybe okay. I also get with Gemini energy sometimes a bit of a distracted energy because it is fast moving. People could think of you as like having a lot of thoughts about things or ideas about things, and maybe your mind moves very quickly from what people can see from your social media. And I don't think it's just your mind. I think it starts with your mind, and then I think you're also, at least people might think of you as someone who's very physically active. As not necessarily like you work out or anything like that, or play a sport or something. It's more like I feel like you could have an idea and you could be struck with like passion for that idea and then instantly go towards something that, fills you with passion. I do feel like that's something that people really notice about you from your social media is how much passion you can have. And like it fuels you with energy to get things done or to reach certain goals. Yeah, and I also think like in general, people might see you as someone who's very like, along with being open minded and curious, like you're not afraid to try new things. And I think trying new things is something that excites you. So yeah, I think people see you that way from your social media. It could also be with Gemini energy being such a fast moving energy, and with the Ace of Wands that maybe your passions change quickly. So you might not be the type of person in other people's eyes to find something new that's really exciting to you and for you to really stick with it. It could be there's a lot of new things that just strike you with like inspiration or passion. So I can see like people might think of you as a little bit distracted and moving towards many different passions at once or just moving from one to another very quickly. Let's see. And then we have the Three of Wands. Oh, okay. It's interesting that I get from this. Although I think people see you as someone who is social and maybe you interact with a lot of different people, I do feel like there's an energy within you that is independent. And so it's interesting because we have all this energy that like kind of speaks about movement, charging forward towards something with a lot of passion. The only cards here that don't really align with that is concealment because that's something that's more hidden, I guess. And then the Three of Wands is like more more of a card of waiting for results or waiting for something. So I don't know. What I get from that is people might think of you on social media as interesting. Like maybe it's something where people think of you as someone who you like to share your ideas about things. Um, and like maybe these are ideas that you're very passionate about, and I think that the vibe that people get from you, yeah, no, I feel like this makes sense. I think the vibe that people get from you in your social media is that you want interactions, like you want maybe to have conversations, you want to like get people thinking about things, and maybe I feel like people think that you want either feedback or to start a conversation. um like it doesn't seem like attention seeking, but I would say it's like people get the sense that you post things to get reactions from people. I don't think it's in a bad way, but I think it's like a curiosity to understand what other people think about maybe your ideas or the things that you post. So there might be an energy of people thinking of you as like waiting for responses, waiting to see what people have to think or say about certain things that you post, perhaps. But I also kind of got this energy of what people think of you from social media is that, like, there's a very fast moving energy with you. So, like, maybe you post a lot at certain times, or maybe sometimes, like, you're very, you talk a lot or you respond quickly to other people on social media or something, and then there could be other times where you just disappear. Like maybe someone was seeing that you were very much online, like interacting with people or making posts or something like that, and then suddenly, like once they comment on your thing or something, then you're gone, you've disappeared. I don't know, the reason why I think about it is because I do that sometimes, mostly just because I'm like nervous to respond to someone and I didn't expect to get a comment or something like that, so I just kind of disappear for a little bit until I'm like, I feel like I'm really ready to give a response or something like that. So people might like kind of notice that about you if you resonate with that, and they might think about that. But in general, it does feel like you have a very nice presence online. I think people are interested in what you post or what you have to say. I think it does get attention on some level or get people thinking about things. So I do feel like it could also be that there are people who do like purposely check up on your social media to see what you've posted, because they might find it interesting, something like that. So that's what I get for you. Well, actually, hold on. I did shuffle songs for this reading, so I guess I will. I was kind of debating whether I really wanted to add the songs or not, but I do have them here with me. So your song that you got was "Look at Me Now." Yeah, I know it's by Chris Brown, some other people, but I didn't write down the artists, but it'll be linked in the description. This is a more popular song, so it does make me think of like, yeah, I do get a social vibe from your social media or like many people wanting to interact with you. So I do feel like you might be popular on social media or well known in some way. But Look at Me Now definitely gives me very confident vibes, and also it kind of makes sense as like kind of like maybe a sarcastic sense of humor, or like you might be quite witty, and there might be a playful way of talking about things. Like it doesn't feel very emotional, it feels more like playful, and like Look at Me Now definitely, I think people see you as someone who's confident. There might be a slightly sexual vibe at times, but I don't think that's like a focus of yours. But people might wonder if certain things are like meant to meant to be, I don't know, sexual, something like that, or like maybe you hint at things in a like kind of sexual or playful way. Like it doesn't feel very serious, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say. And then I also get, I mean, the song does make me think of like, it's kind of like show offy, like look at me now, kind of like maybe you have had a glow up in some way, and something about your social media shows people that you're doing better than you used to. It also makes me think of like kind of proving someone wrong or something like that. Like maybe they're, especially with like that idea that I had earlier of maybe people being a bit suspicious about you on social media, like they wonder if like you have bad intentions, or if something like maybe you're throwing shade or something like that. I think that's what it's called or whatever. But yeah, there might have been people who, along with this idea of like maybe there are people who frequently check up on you on social media to see how you're doing. There could be some people who don't like you, some people who, want you to do badly. And I don't think you're giving that based off of your social media. So, yeah, it kind of like feels like, yeah, you guys wanted me to do badly or something. And look at me now, I'm doing great. So, something like that. But yeah, that's what I get for your pile one. So I hope it resonated with you, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Alright, pile two, welcome to your reading. You guys chose this white crystal here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It was like a free gift, like one of those little extra crystals sellers will throw in if you buy a crystal from their shop. That's what that was. Oh, actually, I wonder if that fits with the song you got. I shuffled songs for this reading, and it's making me wonder if you got the song that I think you might have. I could be wrong, but like, I was thinking since we're talking about a free gift here, like maybe you're very giving. One of the songs that one of the piles got was called Give. So I'm wondering if that was your pile, because I can't really remember. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is a giving sort of nature to you from what people can see from your social media. Yeah, you have Pisces. Okay, this was the pile that I thought it was. I don't remember all the cards in your pile, but yeah, I was kind of wanting to say with the crystal that like it does make me think very peaceful. So perhaps when people see your social media, they think of you as a very peaceful person. And I think Pisces energy is like very loving, very sensitive. It's emotional, it's intuitive, quite psychic. But I also got like very spiritual vibes. But yeah, Pisces can have to do with, I feel like people see you as someone who has a lot of empathy. Perhaps people think of you as someone who's very good with handling other people and their emotions. Like you're very soft and sensitive. Maybe you're very caring, very loving. Um, yeah, very empathetic. And Pisces or like Neptune energy can give an energy of like being self-sacrificial. So perhaps, and then that could be like maybe people get the sense from your social media that you have a tendency to kind of look after other people before yourself or something like that. Okay, we have Finding Love. Pisces, and I also, kind of think about their planets, their ruling planets. Um, Sometimes I think of like with Neptune or Pisces energy, people might think of you as someone who's a bit mysterious. It does make me think of like perhaps at times you might have a tendency to isolate. So maybe for some of you, it either makes me think that your presence online is just very calm and might be kind of consistent, or you have certain times that you like to post or something like that, or certain times where you're often online, and maybe there are other times where you're nowhere to be found online or something like that. Um, yeah, and like for some of you, it could even be that there are long periods of time where you're not posting, and maybe people are wondering where did they go. Yeah, we have Finding Love here. And I think of Pisces as a very loving sign. So yeah, maybe the vibes people get from your social media is that you're looking for love. Um, yeah, like maybe like a very spiritual sort of love or something like that. Um, let's see. So we have the Knight of Wands. Let me pull these cards. Oh yeah, you got the Lovers too. That was interesting, and the Magician. So we have some Gemini energy here with the double Gemini here with the Magician and the Lovers. I think this is funny. I definitely okay. Part of it is not funny, but I think people what they get from you from your social media. Yeah, a very spiritual vibe, especially with the Magician energy coming out. And we have finding love and the Lovers. So there must be something very focused on relationships when people look at your page. Like you were posting about relationships, posting about wanting to find the ideal relationship, or you're trying to manifest a specific relationship, or something like that. Definitely, yeah, again, very spiritual energy. But I think it's funny because we have the Knight of Wands energy, which is unfortunately, it can be seen as a card of like fast moving energy, not always the most committed sort of energy. So I do kind of get the sense that what people think of you from your social media, I either get the idea that like you have been invested in certain love connections that were very brief and fleeting, and that's something that people think of you from your social media. I would also say like with Pisces energy, like I see Pisces energy sometimes as very loving. Like Neptune energy is very like soulmate type of energy. So it does feel like when people look at your social media, they're aware that you're looking for a soulmate. And there might have been people who've noticed that you wanted to manifest things with someone who was not committed to you or something like that. Or there could have been many love interests that people have seen you talk about that maybe things didn't quite work out with. And it's like you're back to manifesting a new person or something like that. I also kind of get the sense like that might be more like, I don't know, like your attention span with relationships. Like we have double Gemini energy. Gemini energy did come out in the last pile, and I kind of explained sometimes Gemini energy to me seems a bit distracted because they can be it's like a very mentally fast moving energy, needing mental stimulation, and very curious, so sometimes seeming quite distracted. So I wonder if for some of you, people get the vibe that you're looking for a very deep and spiritual soulmate connection, but that you might easily kind of take interest in a new person or something like that. So like people think of you as like you found someone new that you're very focused on and you want to create things with, and then you easily move on from that person to a new person that you're hoping to kind of create some deep bond with or something like that. But yeah, very romantic vibes. It does make me wonder if for some of you, I wouldn't think it was most of you, but maybe for a few of you, if this is like people wondering about like a dating profile or something like that, or you're asking about what people think about your dating profile. Maybe you feel like you've been on the dating app too long and you're wanting someone to take you off the dating app or whatever. Something like that. Let's see what song you got. Yeah, you did get Give. I was right about that. Yeah, so I do feel like there's a very giving energy. I would be careful with that since you do have Pisces energy. Again, kind of this energy of being self-sacrificial and sometimes not putting your needs first. And I do notice within water energy a lot, there's this tendency to want to be very giving and then feel very hurt that people are not giving in the same way. So I just want to say, like, if you do feel hurt about being the one that's constantly giving, it might be wise to kind of pull that back a little bit. Obviously, it's nice and very kind to be giving, but make sure that you are taking care of yourself first, and not overextending yourself, especially if it does lead to like burnout or resentments. It's better to just conserve that energy until you have enough energy to give freely. Um, yeah, okay, so that's basically what I have for your reading. It is interesting though. The song that you have, Give, is kind of a strange song. I don't think of it like I have a lot of songs on my playlist that I just personally like, and I don't think they're popular songs, and I was not influenced in any way to like these songs. They're just kind of like my secret special little songs. So, partially what I think, because Pile 1 got a very well known song. So I think that there's something about your social media that does seem very unique or different, or maybe your specific social media account is stands out from maybe the other social media accounts around you, if that makes sense. Like when someone goes to your page, it looks very different than most other pages that they see on social media. So either it's like, because I do get a sense like a very spiritual vibe, and to be quite honest, not most people are spiritual, so it is kind of unique. So I wonder if like perhaps you're a very social or very spiritual person, and the things that you post sound very spiritual, or is in the theme of spirituality or something like that, and the people you follow or are mutuals with or something like that, are not like that or something like that. It feels like something about your social media stands out from the rest in some way because it's different. It's not common, or it's not the way most people think or something like that. So that's something that I notice. And again, your song is kind of weird. Not in a bad way, of course, because I like it, but like, I'm trying to think of the lyrics of the song, and the way the song is sung, it's kind of hard to really hear the lyrics, at least in my opinion. But if I remember it right, or if I'm hearing it right, some of the lyrics in the song is like, I've been grown for days, and now I lost them, or something like that. And it makes me think that what people notice from you from your social media is having a lot of sort of um, kind of unsuccessful relationships. So yeah, you may post about that a lot. Um, and yeah, like people notice that like many relationships have not worked out for you, or you've lost a lot of people. And again, for some of you, it might be an overly sort of giving nature. So you would think that that gets people to like you more, but sometimes it does the complete opposite. And it does make me think that like, some people, this might be mean, but some people might think of you as being a little bit desperate to find someone or something like that because of experiences that have not gone well in the past. Like maybe people think that you're worried, like you're losing hope that you can find someone or something like that. So that could be a vibe that people get from you from your social media. So yeah, I know that's not really the nicest to say. But like, unfortunately, well, I mean, for me, I don't want to be hearing about positive things if that's not what's actually happening for me. And I do wish there were more readings that were like harsher, or like not afraid to say the more negative messages. Because like for me, I find no value if I'm not having a positive experience and I'm listening to a reading that's sounding more positive than what I'm actually experiencing. And I don't always think it's I chose the wrong reading. I notice that a lot of readings are just overwhelmingly positive no matter what. And I think we should be strong enough as people to be able to hear the good and bad, not just the good. So I hope you understand that. And I do hope you take care of yourself and treat yourself for me today. If you resonate with some of those messages, because and to be honest with you, finding love is not easy. a lot of people do get into relationships that they're not even satisfied with. So, don't feel rushed to get into a relationship. It's always good to wait for the right person to come in. And, that does take a long time. So don't feel discouraged that, if you're looking for love, that it is taking a while, because that's normal, that's natural, and that's to be expected. Compatibility is very complicated. So yeah, that's what I have for you today, Pile 2. Again, I'm sorry for the more negative part of your reading. But yeah, I'm here to be honest and just share what I'm seeing, whether that's a good message or it's a more negative one. I just have to stay true to what I really see. So I hope you understand that. And thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next pile, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose this little fluorite triangle. I don't know. But yeah, let's see, what kind of vibes do you give off from your social media, or what do people think of you from your social media? So you have Cancer here. Cancer vibes. With this specific Cancer card, though, and I do think like some Cancers definitely are like this, and it probably has more to do with like other things going on in their chart. Cancers are known for being very sensitive, very emotional. Perhaps, I would say it's interesting because they're represented by the crab, and this guy is definitely, he looks like part human, part crab. And so he has a tough outer shell. So I do think that's something that people get from you from your social media. They think of you as having a tough external shell or something like that. And that, I don't know, some people might think of you as someone who's very nurturing, very kind, very loving, very sensitive. And I don't know, it might depend on who's close to you or not. Because some people might go to your social media and think you have like no emotions or something like that, and that might not be true. There might be a vibe in your social media that you're not always very open with your emotions or with being sensitive. Like maybe people get the vibe that you do try and hide your more vulnerable parts or something like that, and you want to appear strong or tough. Something like that. Let's see, we have leadership. Oh, it's interesting too, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. And generally cardinal signs are more like the leaders, or like they take the first step, they initiate things, they get things started. So, and yeah, I would say with like leadership, there might be something about you in like what people think about you from your social media is that you're more of a leader than a follower. You might stand out in certain ways. You don't necessarily follow what everybody else is doing, or you do things your own way, regardless of whether, what people think of it, basically. Yeah, actually, your pile had a very interesting sort of message. Let's see. So we have the Three of Cups. Oh, okay. I have my cards like mixed up a little differently. Yeah, so okay. So we have the Five of Cups here. We have Judgment. I believe that's Scorpio energy. So a lot of, and then we have the Three of Cups. So there's definitely a lot of water energy coming through in your reading. And I would say like perhaps to be honest with you, I think the vibe that people get from you from your social media is that you've dealt with a lot as far as like emotional things. It doesn't have, I don't mean it's just emotional. Like maybe you've had very rough experiences that you've been through that really pulled at your emotions or something like that. Maybe it's like you've been through a deep depression or something like that, or something about your emotions were not like in control or something like that. You, I wanted to say when I first shuffled out your pile, like what vibes I got from looking at your cards is like, oh, this person is seen as like a role model. I do think like something about your energy, and when people go to your social media, they look at you and they're like, they're doing things right. Or like, it could even be that you like people think of you as having strong morals or like principles. Um, But it's like you're able to demonstrate how to deal with your emotions properly, is what I get. Because the Cancer card and Cancer energy is very emotional, can be known to be very moody. I don't get the sense that people think of you as being a moody person when they look at your social media, but there might be a sense that, like, at some point, maybe in the past or something like that, your emotions were quite hectic in some way. It doesn't have to be chaotic, or it's just like with the Five of Cups energy, that's a sad energy. When we feel disappointed, feel sad about a situation. And the Five of Cups is like kind of a dramatic energy because if you've watched my readings, like I always say, the Five of Cups comes with like generally the way the Five of Cups is explained is like someone's sitting there looking at three cups spilled over and feeling so sad and disappointed that these three cups have tipped over. And it's always this idea that they can't see behind them two cups perfectly intact and standing upright. So it's like this idea that you can't see the good in the situation. So perhaps like the way people see you from your social media is you understand that your emotions were negative or more negative than they needed to be, maybe based off of a specific perception that you had or perspective or something like that. So like we have the Five of Cups, which is sadness, maybe a bit of depression or like very disappointed, um very just like in your emotions and in your negative emotions, and it reminds me of someone who's just like wallowing in their sad emotions. Then we have the Judgment card, which is kind of about self-reflection, looking at your past and like how those actions created specific results and whether you like those results or not and what you need to change to bring in better results. And it can also be this sort of energy of rebirth. So it does make me think that like something about your social media says I've been through a lot and I got myself through it and this is how I did it. And it's like you're trying to show people how to deal with their emotions in a way that's maybe productive or in a different perspective than they have currently. Because then we move to the Three of Cups, which is this energy of having joy, celebration, having fun. Um So I will say, like, there might be people around you. I don't think it's everyone, but certain people who may be dealing with more negative emotions and don't really know how to bring themselves to a more joyous place. They might look at you and your social media and think, like, especially if you're sharing like information or saying like this is how I got myself through this is what I do to protect myself or protect my emotions or make sure that I'm fueling myself with happiness or something like that. And people might think of you as someone who's like they would look at you and think like you think that there's only one right way to do something or something like that. Yeah, because with leadership, it tells me that there's something that you're doing that maybe is different from other people. And it's like, I do think there's this energy of you're trying to show people something, um, how to deal with their emotions, how to look at things from different perspectives so that they can have more happiness or something like that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It gives role model vibes to me. Um, Yeah, and I guess like what people notice from you from your social media is that maybe, again, you've dealt with very heavy emotions in the past. And there's something apparent about your social media that says you don't deal with that anymore, or you've figured out ways to lessen that sadness and bring in more joy to your life. So again, it gives me this energy that you're trying to like show that to people so other people can maybe experience that too, or something like that. So the song that was shuffled for your pile, you got two songs. The first song was "Can I." I think it's by Alina Baraz. That song came up too recently. I think like the last time I took songs, that song came up, so I was a little bit annoyed about it, to be honest. So I was like, let's give them a different song. And then you got Neon Lights. So both of those songs will be linked in the description. Yeah, no, this does make sense though, because Can I mean, it is kind of like a very romantic song, although I don't think I get romantic vibes from your social media. Maybe for some of you, yes, there are like some romantic vibes from your social media that people get, but to me it's like the song Can I is like I don't remember the lyrics too well. Something like, you never knew there's a universe inside of you. So it does make me think that there's something about you that like wants to empower people, wants them to know like how much power they have to get through negative emotions or situations or something like that. That's really what I get. I'm trying to think of the lyrics from Neon Lights. There could be, yeah, I kind of get this. Well, people might get the sense from your social media that you see yourself as above the rest. That might not be true, that might be true, but I think it's just because there's this idea that people get from you from your social media is that you've achieved something or you overcame something, and you believe that other people can too. If you could do it, why can't anyone else? But there may be something frustrating about it, especially if people don't want to take your advice when you know your advice did work or something like that. So it does give me this energy that maybe some people think of you as not really wanting to have a presence on social media, maybe not wanting to be on the specific social media that you're on because you don't, maybe it's like you don't feel like people understand you or something like that. And it's like maybe people on some level want to stay sad about certain things or want to stay depressed. I've noticed that within people. Subconsciously, some people definitely still kind of choose sadness over happiness when they don't realize it. So that might be a thing here. But yeah, that's basically what I get for your reading. I feel a little bad because you could definitely look into the songs and see if there's more meaning there for you, for some of you. I just feel bad because when I'm thinking of like Neon Lights specifically, I'm like, can't remember most of the lyrics. It just seems like a song where someone thought someone didn't like being somewhere or something like that. So it could be that people think you don't like them. And maybe that's not true or something like that. I don't know. But that's what I get for your reading, pile 3. I don't know. Did I call you pile 2 earlier? If I did, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what I've got for you, pile 3. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Alright, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose this aragonite stone. And so we're going to be seeing like what vibes does your social media give off? What do people or maybe a specific person think of you from your social media? Okay, so you guys have Aries energy. So Aries does make me think like especially looking at this card, someone with a lot of energy. It is associated with Mars, which is this like planet of action. So, and Aries is also a very fast moving energy, so people might think of you as someone who's very physically active, like you have a lot of physical energy. There could also be, for some of you, depending on like what you post on social media, I don't know, I do get vibes of like maybe some of you work out or something like that. Aries energy can be very sporty, so I don't know if you're posting like pictures of your workout progress or something like that. Obviously that wouldn't be for everybody, but I could see that here. There could also be a tendency, like people think of you as someone who tends to be impulsive with your actions. So maybe it's like making very impulsive posts or something like that. It does make me think of like bursts of energy. So maybe it's like you don't have a very consistent presence online, and there might be like short bursts where you're spending time online or something like that, and you're posting a lot one moment, and then the next moment maybe you're gone and doing something else and you're busy somewhere else in life or something like that. um yeah, like spontaneous, impulsive. Don't take offense to this. This is not me saying that you don't think about things or you're not smart or something like that, but there could be something like the vibes that you give off from your social media that like your post didn't have a lot of thought behind it. Not that like what I mean is like there's nothing, maybe nothing really too deep about what you post. It could be that you post funny things, you just post randomly, and it's just like very impulsive, and like you didn't stress about it before you posted it. Like people don't get the sense that you're stressing about what you're posting about. You just kind of send it off and you're done, and that's it. And like you don't really concern yourself with much or something like that. Aries is associated with Mars, which can be a planet of like, obviously I said action, but like maybe aggression. I don't think you come off as aggressive, but since Aries is here, maybe for some of you, some people think of you as maybe being a bit aggressive sometimes. Maybe it's just more like aggressive towards your goals or what you want. Like Aries is definitely not the sign that hesitates. It just kind of goes and goes after it. And it also, with Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, I've heard that like they're the babies of the zodiac, so they're the ones that want to try everything. So I do feel like there's like an adventurous sort of nature to you. People think of you as wanting to try new things. Yeah, and having a lot of energy towards doing something new or trying like new things. So we have confidence. So, I mean, obviously, you give off vibes of having confidence from your social media. I feel like, especially like, again, if you resonate with having like a workout routine, you like to work out or you're very physically active, if you do post pictures of like your progress or something like that, it's like, you're confident about your body or something like that. Even if you don't work out, there might be an energy of like, oh, they're like pile 4 is confident with their body, they're not afraid to post it or something like that. You have a lot of confidence. Yeah, definitely, along with what I said of like not overstressing yourself. Like people don't think of you as a very stressed person, like very worried about things. So that's what I kind of get as, along with like posting spontaneously or something like that. Like people definitely get the vibe that you're not worried, you're not anxious, you're quite confident. I would say like, although Aries is a very like, can be kind of an inconsistent sign, I think people see you as quite grounded still. You're not easily like stressed out, or you're not easily worried, or you don't easily get anxious or fearful, something like that. Like people think of you as quite bold, unafraid, just going after it type of thing. You have a lot of confidence in the eyes of other people. Also, yeah, kind of along with what I said, like we have a B here on the confidence card, and of course, I always think of busyness, which is kind of what I got. Like, a lot of you could have a lot of, again, physical energy to do many things, so it could be that you're often doing new things, trying new things, like exerting your energy in some way, so people might think of you as very busy. Yeah, and it's like, again, like, I don't know. I kind of get like very, for some of you, very successful vibes. Like, it seems like you put your energy into many different places. Like, you're definitely, it doesn't seem like you're the type of person to be like chronically online, like always online posting there. It seems like your energy is very much spread out into many different like passions or projects that you have, or like just different areas of your life. I don't think people see you as someone who's, I would say for most of you, I don't think people see you as someone who is not a busy person or just always in one spot, something like that. So we have the Ace of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups. That was surprising to me when those cards came out. Uh, I kind of was not expecting that because your energy doesn't seem, at least with Aries and confidence, it makes me think of someone who's focused on like achieving things, getting things done, success on some level. So I do think people think of you that way. And then we have the King of Wands. Very fitting for Aries energy to come out with the King of Wands. It does make me. We have water and fire energy here, and I do think of those as like the more like passionate energies. Um, Interesting. So the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups. That I would say has to do with relationships. Like it could be. I get the sense that to in my opinion, Aries energy again is like not a hesitant energy. So people might get the vibes from you that when you like it, you'll take action towards it. And that could be about people. Like Ace of Cups could be a new connection. The Knight of Cups could be pursuing that new connection. And even the King of Wands is can be about taking action. Being very passionate, and it's not a very hesitant energy. So people might get the vibes from you from your social media that if you like someone, you initiate things with them. You don't hold back. You're not very hesitant. You just go forward and go towards them. And yeah, it could also be like people think of you as having a lot of confidence to pursue love interests. You don't fear much. You're confident that you could either win their like love, or even if you don't, you're still strong and grounded and you're still confident in yourself. I definitely get this energy that you have a lot of confidence from what people can see from your social media. You're not afraid to take action towards things that you want, and there's really this energy of like no holding back. When you want it, you're gonna go towards it, and that's why I think people think of you as like someone who could be very successful. You have a lot of confidence to go after the things you want, to pursue certain things. It's so funny too because like I said, is like with what you post online or the vibes you get give off online doesn't seem like an energy of like stressing too much. And I didn't want you to feel offended by, I was like, okay, maybe it's like people don't think that there was like a whole lot of thought behind what you posted, or what you post. And it's just saying that like I don't think of you as someone as very like poetic or very, even though we do have cups here, it doesn't seem like you're someone who's very deep in your emotions, or like someone who seems overly anxious or overly like worried about certain things. There just seems to be a lot of confidence from what people can see, and like no hesitation to go after your goals in life. Yeah, like you pursue your goals quite aggressively or something like that. Okay, so and then I shuffled songs for each pile. Your song that you got is I'm God. Um, I know, I don't know if it's just by her, but what is her name? Like Emojin Heap or something like that. I might be saying it wrong. Um, but the song doesn't really have a lot of lyrics, but I think it fits quite well with your energy, because to say like I'm God, it's like obviously you see yourself very highly. People think of you as having a lot of confidence, having a lot of self-worth, self-respect. um, you don't come across as worried, anxious, or stressed. And with I'm God, like it definitely makes me think that the vibe that people get from you from your social media is it's like, if I want it, I'll get it. Like, that like Ariana song or whatever that people always talk about. But yeah, it definitely fits with your energy. Like, if you're gonna want something, you're gonna find a way to get it, and people feel very confident in your ability to do so. And even you, like, people think of you as being very confident in your abilities. So I kind of like that. I really like people who are not afraid to be confident. And it does seem like a very true confidence, not like showy or like I just want everybody to see me as confident. No, I feel like you do have like a very true inner confidence. Like, it makes me feel like even if something didn't go well, like it wouldn't shake you up or make you like feel like a failure or something. You still have confidence. You still know your self-worth or something. Like with the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups, it is kind of like a very relationship focused energy, like maybe romantic. It doesn't have to be that specifically, because everything else just seems like I just go after my goals. If I see something I want, I'm going to go towards it. I don't really hesitate. I know what I want when I see it. But like, if we are relating this to romance, like you would seem like the type of person to not really hold back. If you like someone, you would initiate something with them, tell them how you feel. You wouldn't care, because it's like you don't fear rejection is what I get. That doesn't stop you from going after what you want, which to me seems like a very true confidence. You're not afraid of failure. It's not going to stop you from going after what you want. So yeah, that's what I get from you, from your pile. I really, really like your energy, pile 4. And I wasn't really expecting these sort of messages to come out for your reading. So I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. That's kind of cringy. Sorry. Thank you for watching, Pile 4. I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Alright, Pile 5. Welcome to your reading. So you guys chose this Peter site. Very nice. That might be, honestly, this might be one of my favorites. Just looks like a blue tiger's eye, from what I can tell. It's very nice. Anyways. What vibes do you give off from your social media? What do people think about you from your social media? Let's see. Okay, we have Saturn. Alright, so... Oh no, this is going to be so fitting, I bet. I shuffled songs for this reading, and I did that quite a bit later than when I shuffled out the piles, so it's kind of like... It's fun to... once I actually do the readings, to see how the songs actually connect to the piles. And I feel like your song connects very well to this Saturn energy here. So the vibes people get from you from your social media is like kind of more serious. I would say like more intelligent, like more responsible. Yeah, like definitely Saturn vibes gives me like, you might post very deep lyrics or like post deep like poetic things or something like that. Or it could be that your like aesthetic on social media is very like clean, if that makes sense. It might be like a more minimalistic style. But Saturn vibes, like when people go to your social media, they think you've been through some things and you have a lot of wisdom because of what you've been through. There could also be a tendency to not share too much. I feel like there could be something about you that comes across as a bit private. Yeah, because Saturn, it does make me think of like Capricorn vibes. And a lot of Capricorn type social media, like social media of Capricorns that I've noticed is like kind of more serious or very neat looking, like organized, kind of deep, and not always like, it doesn't seem like you're silly on social media in any way. Like you might not be the type to be joking a lot, making funny posts. It might be more serious type posts or something like that. Um, and kind of, yeah, again, kind of more smart and disciplined, more responsible. You might post things maybe about your day-to-day routines or something like that. I guess I would be more like maybe like Virgo, or I'm thinking of like more sixth house energy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess because like disciplined is making me think of like, oh, you have responsibilities or something like that. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, we have mindfulness. Unlike the last pile, which I really did enjoy the last pile's energy, it felt very like kind of opposite of this energy. Um, like I kind of said in the last pile, pile four is like maybe people think there's not a whole lot of thought behind what they post. Again, not to say like pile four is dumb or something like that. That's absolutely not what I was getting in any way. Actually, I would say pile four is very intelligent because they can be quite successful. But it just seems like there's not a lot of thinking in like what they post or how they show up on social media. Where yours might be like you think a lot about certain things and maybe you concern yourself with many different matters. And it's this energy with Saturn to me, like of trying to find answers, and thinking deeply about things. So I think people go to your social media page and say, oh, that's a deep thinker. They know some things, they've been through some things, and they have a lot of wisdom. And it could also be that there's something about your energy and your social media that does stand out a bit from like the average person's social media. Like you come across more serious, more disciplined, more responsible, more thoughtful than most people. Let's see. Okay, we have the Empress. So more Earth energy showing up. Yeah, we have some Capricorn vibes. We've got some Taurus vibes. And yeah, it does make me think like there's something about your energy. I would say something that people notice about you from your social media is that you're a very calm person. I don't think you're someone to fight or yell or something like that. There's a lot of maturity to the way people see you and to the way you handle things. The Empress energy is like quite nurturing, grounded, takes care of themselves. I do think that people see you as someone who can be more of a lone wolf on your social media, more independent. But yeah, very responsible and very mature. And it's like you've been through a lot. You've learned a lot from your experiences. And that's apparent when people see your social media. The Empress is a feminine energy, so there could be, like people think of you as quite feminine, even if you are not a woman. Could be that people just see you as someone who's very nurturing, very loving, very responsible. But you do so in like maybe a more indirect way. Like I would say like this makes me think of someone who reminds someone else to take care of themselves. Like I'll take care of myself and I'll make sure I'm good and I'm taken care of, and I want you to be able to do the same. So it doesn't like kind of unlike pile 2, I think it was. Yeah, pile 2 was very like self-sacrificial, like give and not necessarily always be taking care of themselves first. You don't seem that way. You seem like someone who's quite independent. You'll take care of yourself first, but you're also quite nurturing and caring towards other people, but not in a way that's like putting yourself down or neglecting yourself. So we have the 10 of Wands. Okay, Saturn with the 10 of Wands does make me think that some people see you as a workaholic. Like maybe people think you always feel the need to be taking care of certain things, getting certain things done. There's a very disciplined energy with you. The Empress could also, it's connected with Venus energy. So maybe people think of you, yeah, even if you might consider yourself, like you might say, like you don't think you're attractive. It doesn't matter. Your energy is very attractive. Um, and yeah, I think people are easily attracted to your social media. But yeah, with this Ten of Wands energy can be this energy of burnout. So it does, with Saturn, it does make me think that you have a tendency to work very hard. If it's like you wouldn't, it might be this energy where you don't overextend yourself in relationships and you don't run into burnout within relationships, but you might run into burnout from doing too much, like handling too much at once, maybe working extra hours. You could come across as a workaholic to people from your social media. Excuse me, sorry. Then we have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, there is a sort of feminine energy and a very like kind of loving and nurturing energy that you give off from your social media. Hmm. Actually, I wonder, I wonder if you do kind of fit in with pile two just a little bit. Like, but you might have a more of awareness about it than pile two might have. Like with this Empress energy and the Queen of Cups, very like nurturing energies, very loving. And then we have the Ten of Wands, which could be like putting a lot of work into something to not see very great results. It could be that people get the sense from you, from your social media, that you are a very caring person, and it honestly might be kind of easy for you to lose yourself in another person. But you have an awareness of that, and because you know that there's a tendency to want to hold back in relationships until you know maybe it's worth it to give more of your kind and nurturing energy. Like Saturn vibes gives me this energy of holding back. It can talk about challenges and delays, which fits very well with the Ten of Wands energy, of putting in a lot of God, I can't speak. Putting in a lot of work towards something and not being happy with the results, or not even really getting the type of results that you wanted, or maybe even no results at all. It's kind of like an energy of overextending yourself. So it's funny, it might be that the way people see you from your social media is because you have an awareness of a tendency to overextend yourself towards people. Since you have an awareness of that and you're mindful of that, you do hold back in connections maybe early on until you know you could trust someone. But it does feel like the what people get from you, uh it's funny because when I think of this type of energy and the type of social media pages I imagine with this type of energy, they come across as like a bit emotionless with the way they post or something like that. But you can tell they're full of emotion, if that makes sense. Or like they're very deep people, even if they don't want to come across that way. So I think you come across that way. Like you might want to appear as like a lone wolf and you're not really interested in, connecting with people, or like you're good on your own, or you're serious and not always open with your emotion. But I think it is because at least maybe people get the vibes that you're actually quite sensitive. So because you are aware of that, you need to be kind of careful with your energy. Yeah, I definitely get people that think like you're very deep, especially even within your emotions. Even if you don't express your emotions very openly, people still get the sense that they're very much there and they're very deep. And you're very careful to express certain things or something like that. Yeah, and it could be, yeah, because being aware of how deep you could be, maybe you're looking for that same type of depth within other people, and it's like there's a tendency to hold back in connecting with other people until you can kind of see that they are as deep as you or something like that, or that they're not going to take advantage of you or something like that. it is making me think of what they say about you might come across as someone of having like a more avoidant type attachment. But I think it fits in with having this avoidant type attachment because of feeling like you couldn't trust people in the past. So people might get that vibe from you that you're avoidant because you don't know that you can trust other people. Something like that. So the song that you get for your pile. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to say this fits in so well with your vibes. Eyes Off You. I really like that song, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think it's so nice. But I think it fits in with this sort of like vibe you give off that's like very mature, very mindful. You think deeply. Um, and there might be kind of like a minimalistic style or a very neat sort of style that you have. Like it's everything. Maybe it's like when people look at your social media, they can tell the layout that you have was very much thought about. Like it wasn't random. You thought deeply about what you post or how your social media looks, and you want it to look a specific way. And you might want it to look very organized or neat, maybe minimalistic or more mature or something like that. And something like quite deep or something like, again, like I said, like maybe posting deep song lyrics or poetic sort of uh, words or something like that. And also, yeah, with Eyes Off You, um, it does give like a slight romantic vibe. It's interesting because I feel like when people look at your social media, it's like you're trying to give off the vibe that you're not necessarily interested in romance, you're not necessarily interested in being like very emotional or like expressing much of your emotions, but people think of you as romantic anyways. People think of you as deep emotionally anyways, even if you hide it or you don't show it or don't always express it. It's just kind of like radiating off of you anyways, regardless. And it could also be that you do have a lot of people who end up liking you or like having crushes on you or developing feelings towards you, and you might be the type of person who is often turning people down, something like that. And maybe people kind of get that sense from you from your social media, something like that. Although there might be a vibe people get from you that even if you want to seem like a lone wolf, you're not necessarily interested in romance, people still get the vibe that you still want a deep connection, even if you don't really show it, something like that. I hope that this did resonate with you. It did feel kind of specific, so I'm sorry if it didn't resonate. You could always, feel free to check into another pile if that's the case, but that is what I get for your reading. Thank you for watching Pile 5, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.